Blue Box is the mega hit manga with one of the most hyped up anime in a long time, combining the sports and romance genre into a product that took over the masses. Now, combining these two genres should by all means be a recipe for the biggest piece of dog shit since My Hero Academia, but instead, what's come out of it is one of the most beautiful anime with a story so immersive and real, it feels like a romance anime without the romance. And that fact alone may just teach you how to get an actual girlfriend. I know you gotta be jumping for the premise now. Does it include Wincest? Does it have to do with body pillows? Well, no. It has to do with badminton. Alright, let me explain. This is our main character, Taiki, and he's just a normal dude. Not overly horny, not overly awkward. He's just a normal guy on his school's badminton team who has a crush on the popular Kano, the star of the basketball team, and every day she arrives to school before everyone else to get extra practice in. And Taiki starts doing the same because he's inspired by her dedication to improve. And let's be honest, bro, we're trying to get some alone time with her. So let's stop here. I know what you're thinking. That's super basic. What the fuck kind of bullshit ass anime is this? Best romance anime in years? More like most generic romance anime in years? First of all, there's gonna be more to it than that. And second of all, in a genre that is filled with renting a girlfriend till she loves you, or a random love at first sight, or being friend zoned until it turns into a harem, all of these things fill the romance genre. Except actual normal romance. You see, anime fans, write this down. When you actually like a girl, a real girl, not a virtual one, you find a way to get yourself some alone time with them. And I'm sure some of y'all can drop in the comments what absurd clubs you joined in order to spit some game. Now, while that premise is basic and realistic, it does go completely fictional off the walls. Oh wow, holy shit, what the fuck is going on? Crazy. Kinda. Basically what happens is Kano's parents move away, but she wants to stay so she can win nationals, so she moves in with her mom's friend, who is Taiki's mom. And I know, I said it wasn't some stepsister Wincest shit, and it's true. The reason I don't want to exaggerate this is because it doesn't go how you would think. You know how most romance anime, when they do something like this, they would immediately start fucking dealing out fan service shots like it was crack cocaine in the 80s. You wouldn't be able to hide from it, but here there's none of that. And we'll get more into it later, but their interactions here help really sell the immersion of the series. Like, let's just be real, sit down, take a seat. You're an awkward anime fan and he's an awkward guy, so let's just talk about it, alright? You like a girl, you're crushing on her, all that good stuff, you think you're making it work, and then randomly, she decides to move into your house. Now, that is not a dream. That is fucking awkward as shit. And the way they build that relationship is through the sports aspect of the anime, which is used in a way that's way different than you may expect. And when it comes to Blue Box, you have 5 characters to keep in mind in relation to sports. We have main character Taiki, his best friend Kyo, and the captain Haryu, all on the badminton side of things. Then we have Kano representing basketball, and then we have Hina, who is the star of the gymnastics team. Now, Taiki, Kyo, and Hina are a little trio who constantly banter while every other team is practicing in the gym, and they are also the only ones that know Taiki lives and likes Kano. Whereas Haryu, he's aware that Taiki likes Kano, but not aware they are literally living together. And these 5 all have shared goals related to nationals. Actually, maybe not Kyo. This dude is sitting here watching them all go down, watching all the fire burn around him, and he's just sitting there like, damn, I'm just trying to make it to tomorrow. He's a G though, I hope he gets more screen time. But how the sports are used is more of a function of defining relationships and motivation than something to make you go, oh wait, holy fucking shit, he just smashed the ball like crazy. This is so hype. Oh my god. Now, don't get me wrong, there is some of that, but the best example of how Blue Box mainly uses sports is in relation to Hina. Now, there's a bit of a love triangle between Hina, Taiki, and Kano, but much like Taiki crushing on Kano, it's not over the top. There's no advanced crazy schemes that the losing girl does. No blackmail, no advanced plot. She just deals with the fact that she likes someone that does not like her back. More importantly, she doesn't think about it selfishly and genuinely wants Taiki to get with Kano, because at the end of the day, that's her friend. She wants what's best for him. But at the same time, that is very sad and a cruel reality for her, and it starts affecting her performance in training. Her sharp movements are no longer there. Her calmness has left her. She is not performing the same, and she gets injured and starts to feel lost. Now, having a parallel action within a character is not some fucking Shakespeare level writing, but most of this goes down in 1 to 2 episodes and even gets resolved in the same span, with her realizing that her relationship with Taiki does not need to change. Now, besides the fact that Hina is one of the better blue-haired girls in romance anime, there does feel like a chance she will get something out of it, because typically the second place girl not only gets demolished by the main girl, but she also typically gets some shit ending. And nah, they don't just lose, they get a fate worse than death itself. They get something so bad, so ruthless, us that their fan base lives on far after the series is over. But here, not only does it feel like she actually has a chance, but it seems like she's gonna be happy in the end. But the sports aspect of the show is used in ways beyond just characterization, but it's an actual tool for building Kano and Taiki's relationship, and I do not mean in a romantic sense. I repeat, I do not mean in a romantic sense. We all know how romance anime go. If this was a normal romance anime, Kano would be like, oh my god, Taiki, you're so amazing. You fucking work hard even though you're shit at badminton and can do fuck all and have absolutely no special qualities. Please marry me right now. Like, nah, there's none of that. You see, Kano and Taiki, although they live together, their interactions are, let's just say, awkward. You know, Taiki got no game whatsoever, and Kano don't really give bro a whole lot to work with either. Let's be honest, he's not the type of guy to turn water to wine and spit some game that's all of a sudden gonna get him to the prize he desires. But what they do have in common is their dedication to their sports. We see the two practice with one another, the two support each other at their lows, the two help push each other to the absolute brink of their craft in order to get to nationals. And that is the key of their relationship. Everything is about nationals. They not only bond over getting to nationals, but they even have genuine disagreements that make actual sense. Yes, you heard me right. There is intellectual disagreements within a romance anime for the first time in years. There is actual disagreements that make sense. For example, right, Taiki is a first year and Kano is a second year, and one day after a long day of practice, Taiki is opening up about his desire to win and how badly he wants to win, and Kano is just like, hey, little bro, don't worry about it. You got 2 more years to go out there and get to nationals. What is you tripping over? And Taiki's like, fuck is you talking about? I am working my ass off trying to impress you, trying to sway you, trying to win you over, playing fucking badminton. Who the fuck wants to play badminton? You're just gonna say I got 2 more years? You're not gonna be here in 2 more years. What are you talking about? And the issue actually does get resolved, and legitimately Kano's like, yeah, I did just completely write off this kid's hard work and feelings because he has 2 more years. And she starts to think how she would feel if she heard her own advice, and it's honestly an interesting path of thought for characters that you for sure will never ever see in a normal romance anime. It helped the story feel grounded and keep the immersion. And even how the story follows it up, where Kano continues to see how hard Taiki is pushing himself to become better, because Taiki trains with the best player on the team, Haryu, and Haryu is the LeBron James of badminton. This dude was made in a lab to become a god, engineered for the sole purpose of playing this stupid game. And Taiki, on the other hand, Taiki's just Taiki. It's not like the other sports anime where the main character has the Mangekyou Sharingan and can like see the field, or has some special power where they can pass the ball without looking. Like, nah, Taiki is literally just Taiki. He is nowhere near Harui's level, but he keeps getting pushed more and more to the point where we see Taiki start to grow and actually get better, and Kano takes note of this and begins to understand what kind of guy Taiki is. And once again, I will know, I do not mean she starts to understand him in a romantic sense or understand her feelings towards him. She simply just understands the type of guy Taiki is. They want to understand who they are as people first. But all that characterization and story and plot, all that stuff, that's all well and good and all. It's deep, it gets your noggins working. But let's be real, it is a sports anime at the end of the day. So how hype is it? And I know I've been talking almost down on sports anime, but let's be real, they are all insanely hype, and there's a reason we watch all of them. And here in Blue Box, with the main sport being badminton, it's like, man, we couldn't get bro playing basketball or volleyball or soccer. We gotta get him playing fucking badminton. I didn't even know badminton was an actual sport that you could compete in. Holy shit. Hear this. In scripting this, I just learned badminton is an Olympic sport. But to answer the question, is it hype? Is it not? The answer is yes. Like, the answer is so yes. The games are hype. I never known how badminton was actually played, but they are smashing the ball back and forth. There's intense rallies. The games are dramatic, and it all being paired with fantastic production and characters that have actual personalities just makes it all the more better. But what makes Blue Box so special is just how serious the story takes itself, both on the sports side and the romance side. For example, when Taiki gets his big chance to qualify for nationals, his big moment to step out of Harui's shadow, to claim what is his, to complete his goal with Kano and all of his hard work to pay off, he loses. Now, this isn't at all a particularly unique trope of sports anime. It's not a bad thing at all, but it's typically after the main character accomplishes something. But here in Blue Box, he just loses the game to a new character in the qualifying stages of the tournament, and at first thought, you're like, what was this all for? Like, why did we go through all of that for him to lose at an irrelevant stage in the tournament? But then it hits you and you realize what the purpose of it all is. All of this has been done in an effort for you to understand Taiki as a character, and his reaction to the loss is way more important than the outcome of the game. And before I clue you into into that, this moment was where you realize all of the characters may just be a whole lot deeper than you previously thought. Taiki immediately picks himself back up and gets back to work, despite the fact that his goal was just crushed right before his eyes. And when asked what his goal for the next year was, he didn't choose something unrealistic and vague like, I'm gonna win nationals. He picked something grounded and realistic in working on his smashes. I promise that is not as degenerate as it sounds. Stop making fun and judging badminton. But by picking a real aspect of his game to improve on, it shows he's level-headed, and of course he wants to win nationals, but he knows he has to work to get there. And I think through seeing all the practice he has done with Kano, seeing Haryu, he understands what it takes to build yourself up into someone that is exceptional, and you're not just gonna get something because you work hard. There is an aspect of talent to it, and you do have to learn skills. But the character's depth doesn't just stop at Taiki. We see Haryu fully take Taiki under his wing, and Haryu at first seems to be that type of character that any anime fan would hate. He's a jock, he's cool, he has everything that most nerds don't have, but seeing him help Taiki on the court and making him better at badminton, seeing him off the court, pushing him to get with Kano, it felt like the dynamic you'll see a lot between an underclassman and an upperclassman. You know, when that freshman feels so cool when he's hanging out with a senior, and then when they're a senior, you're like, damn, that senior was kind of lame as hell. That's the relationship they have here. It really does feel like a big bro looking after his little bro, and their dynamic is also not the only thing that is deep. Hina is pretty universally seen as the deepest character in the series, with how she's handling her sadness whilst helping Taiki overcome his own struggles. And then we get to Kano, and Kano, at first, I'll be honest, you're gonna think she's boring, typical, generic. How could a series be hyped up with a character like this? She's literally a copy and paste of every other main girl ever. But then as the story develops, it really does well at helping you understand what she sacrificed in order to get the opportunity to play basketball. I mean, she literally moved into someone's house away from her family to continue playing. And even furthering that, when her and Taiki's relationship starts getting a little close, she notices feelings are being developed. She draws a line in the sand and says she won't allow herself to feel that way towards him anymore, and she can't allow herself to take her focus off basketball. Everything she has done is to win nationals. She's not going to let anything get in her way, which is pretty out there for a character like her to make a statement that bold when at first she can appear pretty timid. And I think a lot of people have described Blue Box as mature, realistic, and the way they're talking about it, it's almost as if it's one of those required readings you have to do in high school. Like, it's super serious, it's romance done right. We have never seen romance like this before, and honestly, all that stuff, it's true. It is a mature take on the genre, but it's still anime, and it still has all the fun things we like about anime, all the intense moments, all the tropes are done well. But I think when you pair all of that with the narrative we just described, with the production that is out of this world, the word that comes to mind when you think of Blue Box is immerse, because of the level of realism brought through all the details. Besides the fact that the art style is one of the best of the year, but the most underrated aspect of this show is the music and background drawing, really taking you to the scenes, as well as the fact that the dialogue and scene progression really makes you feel like, damn, this is actually how some of this stuff would go down. It wants to take you back to a time when you were in school and what actual romance was during a time of your life where you didn't even know what love was. So if you enjoyed this video, check out this one on the most underrated romance anime of the year, and make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and don't forget, we're just getting started, we're gonna stay consistent, and I'll see you in the next video.